Ecosystem Exchange is the podcast series by T6 Ecosystems that explore different themes shaping our world. Each season spotlights a new focus, bringing together experts for engaging discussions. Through this exchange of ideas, we promote a sense of intellectual exploration, interdisciplinary collaboration, and actionable insights. Welcome to Ecosystem Exchange, a podcast by T6 Ecosystems where we explore the intersection of research, innovation, and real life. This episode is part of the series The Power of Art, Science and Technology, an European Perspective. I'm Simona De Rosa, partner and researcher at T6 Ecosystems. In these highlights, I want to share more about strong T6 skills, namely how we work with policy dialogue in European projects, and I will do so by bringing you inside a concrete example, the PACESETTERS Policy Brief, a document we deliver to highlight the role of artistic research in Europe's regenerative future. So, the question is, why policy dialogue matters? When we engage in European research and innovation projects, the ultimate goal is not just the production of knowledge, but to make sure that knowledge shapes the policies that guide our societies. Policy dialogue is the bridge that connects research outcome with decision makers. It's about ensuring that what happens inside projects resonates in Brussels, in national ministry, and in a wider European agenda. So how we do this in practice? Over the years, T6 has developed a structured approach to policy dialogue. The project is based on multi-stakeholder approach and the triangulation of different data collection and analysis. But we do not have a unique concept. The process is tailor-made for the project where we are engaged. Of course, there are some common elements. For instance, for me, the key is always to develop a careful and deep mapping of the policy landscape we want to inform. And then, the other element that characterizes our approach is the definition of topics to address, together with practitioners. On such base, we build up our research and analysis. In some cases, we support the translation of complex research outcomes in a readable format that policymakers can actually use. Practically, this means that we prepare policy briefs, position papers, and also concise recommendations that are grounded in evidence but easy to understand and apply. On the top of this process, there is a strong conviction. We believe in participatory dialogue. Policy is not something we deliver to stakeholders. It's something we build with them. That's why we organize workshops, policy lab, and dialogue sessions where researchers and policymakers meet, exchange perspective, and co-create knowledge. Another aspect that should be kept in mind is that we work with strategic timing. The European policy cycle is very dynamic. Priorities shift, programs are revised, and funding calls are updated. This means that our role is to ensure that research results are communicated at the right moment, when policymakers are open to input and shaping the next steps. But what I think makes really the difference for T6 is that we act as a trusted mediator. We are not just transmitting or translating research results. We are connecting different communities, researchers, innovators, citizens, and policymakers, and creating the conditions for dialogue to flourish. At T6, we see this as a crucial mission, to translate research into clear, timely, and actionable recommendations. Just to make a clear example, in the previous episode of the podcast, we discussed with Florian Schneider from MTNU the PACESETTERS project. Today, I want to discuss an example on how we deal with policy dialogue in the PACESETTERS project. During the first year of the project, PACESETTERS has developed highly relevant research on artistic practices. What we have done has been to translate the research finding in a brief. But to do that, We worked together with the project stakeholders and the researchers to aggregate the key topics we wanted to push and send to European policymakers. The brief indeed sent a clear message to European decision makers. If Europe wants to remain competitive, resilient, and sustainable, it must fully integrate artistic and cultural innovation into its research and policy strategies. So, what does the brief recommend? Let me walk you through the main ideas. First, it calls for strengthening collaborative research with and through the arts. Second, it highlights the need to scale artistic research for climate transition. Third, it argues for place-based innovation. And finally, the brief emphasized the importance of new governance model. The policy brief from PACESETTERS is more than a report. It's the demonstration of T6 approach to policy dialogue. So we start from research, but we translate findings into strategic, actionable recommendations. We provide our output to match key European debates, like the New Horizon Europe Work Programme or the upcoming Multi-Financial Framework. And we frame our recommendations in a way that resonates with policymakers, concrete, practical, and linked to Europeans' wider competitiveness and transition goals. Through this process, T6 acts as a mediator, connecting the world of research and innovation with the world of policy. So, as Europe prepares for the next MFF, the stakes are high. Will art and cultural innovation remain at the margin, or will they be recognized as central drivers of change? Our message is clear. Artists and cultural practitioners are not just illustrators or communicators. They are pivotal innovators, catalysts, and enablers of European future. And the policy dialogue is the tool that makes sure that their voice is heard in Brussels and beyond. We will keep discussing these topics, also presenting the policy brief at the next PACESETTERS event at the Creative Transformation Summit that will be held from November 12 to 14 in Malaga. If you're interested in those topics, check the project website to know how to attend the event. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Ecosystem Exchange. If you are a policymaker, a researcher, or a creative professional and you would like to explore these ideas, you can find the PACESETTERS Policy Brief online, and of course, you can always reach us at T6. I'm Simona De Rosa, and I look forward to continuing the exchange. Thanks for listening to this highlight of our Ecosystem Exchange. See you in the next episode.